Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Game 4 coming up right now between Elfi and SeleCT.
Yeah, on Taldra Malta, nice large map here. And it's, once again, I'm really finding it difficult, and I'm thinking of all the stuff that can happen. Elfi has to pull something out if he wants to stay in. This is his potential last game if he doesn't pull anything out. And on this map, I'm going to guess that he's going to go for some blink play, some aggressive play. That's where his strengths lie. We talked a lot about that yesterday, and just telling these players to go. The strength of Elfi is all about his decision making, his control, and basically the builds he chooses. His macro, his multitasking are his weaknesses, and going up against a Korean alone and a Terran player in such an intense environment will always stretch his weaknesses that could lose in this tournament.
Could potentially. That said, his strengths, his execution, his control in the main engagement, and of course his timings. An aggressive timing push on this map, especially against SeleCT, who is most likely going to want to go for a fast expansion, really likely in his very far ground positions here. Potentially that could do damage. Whatever the case, here we go. SeleCT in the blue trunks. He is currently 2-1 up in this best-of-5 series. One game away from going to the grand finals. He is playing Terran to the northwest versus his opponents. It is Elfi fighting for his life in this tournament. If he loses this match, then he will be going into the bronze match for the consolation third-place matchup. He is playing Protoss to the southeast in the red.
Yeah, and the loser will be playing the loser of Idra versus White Raw, which will be happening very shortly on the main stage as well. And let's have a look what Elfi's going to be planning to do here. And I suspect that SeleCT, though, will just go for a gasless expansion once again. It is a little bit more difficult. Builds such as, 3-gate pressure, then expansion, are even though strong. And Mers from Team Dignitas, obviously teammate of SeleCT, has had trouble against this. Against MC, we saw a lot, where you run a Stalker past the bunker and then warp in by the mineral line. And that may cause a few problems. And will Elfi decide to do something like this? We'll have to see. And SeleCT, though, has he taken gases? No, he has not.
Yep, gasless expand is on the way from SeleCT. You might think that's a bit greedy, but on a map like this, it's so incredibly standard to do. Really normal. So we'll see him put that down, and then it comes down to, over those next few minutes, what is Elfi able to do to him? If Elfi can't do any damage, then that puts Elfi behind. He must get in there, he must do some damage, he must harass that mineral line, hopefully do something like he did in the first game, where he was able to exploit a timing window and put a lot of pressure on. Gonna harass a little bit right now just to force SeleCT to pull an extra SCV off of that mineral line. And the question is, does he know anything about the gas count? I don't believe he does yet.
No, I don't think he does, actually. He couldn't get into the base. And actually, well, he did see around a little bit and did see that there was no gas, actually, sorry. And looking over in Elfi's base, has gone for that Cybercore before Pylon once again, but he did go 13 Gateway, 3 Chrono Boost into the Nexus, and we're going to be very shortly seeing a Stalker come out. And it looks like so far we are just going to see a Stalker into expansion play here by Elfi. They're kind of the same style that he managed to beat Team Liquid's Jinro in the IEM China not so long ago as well. And there is that command center being put down for SeleCT here.
Yeah, Elfi scouts that immediately. He knows exactly what's going on. Chrono boosting a Stalker to get SeleCT's SCV out there. And I suppose information-wise, SeleCT's sort of a bit behind here because he knows that there's gas up, but he doesn't really know what it's going to be. Elfi could potentially get really aggressive here, or he could try and expand. The information about the expansion has been denied. SeleCT does not know about that. He may try and flank around, but Elfi's going to aggressively deny that and make sure the SCV can't get in.
And we are going to have the second gas now taken for Elfi. Wants to start to tech up very shortly here as well. A sentry on the way as well. That expansion has gone down, so 1 gate into expansion for Elfi here. On the other hand, we just have this pretty much standard here for SeleCT. 1 barracks expansion, followed by adding on those 2 extra ones, getting the refinery as well. And I suspect that we are going to just see a safe SeleCT in this game, knowing that Elfi's strengths do rely in these pushes. So as long as SeleCT does defend against them, like we saw on Shakir's Plateau, he should be able to take the late game very favorable and into his own play.
I would think so, certainly. And if Elfi's able to execute something really strong here, I'd be, at least right now, fairly surprised. What do you think, honestly, is coming from Elfi? Because we've got the early expansion. We've seen that there's 2-base Colossus play. We saw it in Assembly Summer. We might see it here. What build are we looking at from Elfi?
In these positions, Colossus play isn't that strong. If they were in different positions, it's a little bit easier. But because of cross-position and the kind of lack of ability to get cross-position, I suspect we will see 6, 7 gateway maybe, and hoping that Select only has a single bunker instead of 2, because that's something, a kind of a pattern we can see of Select. He only usually gets the 1 bunker. I mean, we are having a Forge go down as well, so we may be going for a +1 timing attack. The thing is, though, Select did go in and see that the gases on the natural were not taken yet, which means that we are not going to be seeing a very fast Colossus like previously, so we can already filter the builds of Elfi down a little bit. And there is the Factory Force Select coming down before Engineering Bay, keep in mind. So he is playing a little bit greedy on that sense, kind of ignoring the fact that Elfi could have gone for DTs and could have knocked him out really fast. And Select is taking that risk to go for these Medivacs a lot earlier.
Yeah, this is a really normal Select kind of composition. We're taking a reactor here to swap over into the starport, going for primarily Marine with a Marauder or 2 in there. Very late on all of the upgrades, I'm noticing. Obviously, he hasn't got the Engineering Bay, but he hasn't actually started any of the 3 main infantry upgrades either. So all of these are going to be very, very late. The thing is, Elfi can't really throw a lot at him yet. He hasn't got a lot of gateways out. He's currently sitting on 3 only with a robotics facility. Really passive and potentially looking to take a 3rd quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's another option Elfi could have done. If he didn't want to go for a timing attack, he could have just gone for a greedy option, which would have been this 3rd base. But the thing is, Select went for the skipping the Engineering Bay, going for early starport. We'll be able to get Medivacs out rather fast here and could start potentially harassing around. Though Elfi's play is changing up a little bit now. He's gone for the +1 armor on that Forge. He is also getting the Twilight Council and will want to go into that Zealot charge pretty much straight away. And Select is more than comfortable to start killing the rocks as well. May even try to expand fast himself. And there is that Engineering Bay going down for him as well. And I think we're going to be seeing some very heavy Zealot kind of Archon play from Elfi. And the strengths with this build is that actually he's going to decide to go for Blink first to defend against the drop capability of Select. Select is well known for that. But the strength in this build will lie down on a huge timing probably with these gateway units.
Yeah, and really, he can't do that yet. He's only sitting on 4 gateways, in fact. He's building a couple of extra on top of that. That will take him up to a grand total of 6. And yes, 6 gate pressure, very viable, especially with Blink, if he's got enough Stalkers available. Doesn't really have enough yet. In the meantime, a small force here from Select, enough to perhaps poke at the natural. And this natural on Tal'Darim Altar is very, very vulnerable to elevation play. Very easy to get your force down here, then pick up, drop into the mineral line, do a little bit of damage, hit the assimilator, and then perhaps get out of there. The thing is, this is seen by Elfi. Elfi knows what's coming and will be moving to prepare for that. More gateways on the way for him.
This could be really dangerous for Select right now. He has really minimal units, and Blink is very close to finishing, but what we're going to be seeing is 8 gateway timing attack. There's no 3rd base coming out from Elfi whatsoever. He was just killing the rocks, and now we are going to see pressure come down. Select does see an additional gateway being added on, but he doesn't know the extent of the gateway count, which may catch him off guard, and Blink is now finished. If Select gets a little bit too pushy and too greedy with this attack, he could lose everything. Yeah,
he very well could. He does not. He now, in fact, has concussive shell only just. But this could get really, really dangerous for Select. And if Elfi is able to blink past that, that would be really unpleasant. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to jump on this force, trying to crush it in the middle, which will give him a huge advantage going into an attack. Is he able to do it? Continues to pursue the Medivacs. A good target fire down. Elfi takes 1. Can he take the 2nd? No, he cannot. He's going to back off for the moment. Little bit of damage done there by Elfi, and that attack blunted. No real harassment done by Select aside from a single assimilator kill, which honestly is not that crucial to this kind of gateway pressure.
Wow, and Elfi actually is going to go ahead and take a 3rd base now. Despite going up to a total of 8 gateways, He is expanding now. He's also adding on the Templar Archives as well. Select, on the other hand, does have his third orbital up and running. The probe and SCV count 62 probes versus 53 SCVs right now. And the upgrades are slightly in favor of Elfi right now, as he's almost at +2 armor and can start to begin on +3 very, very shortly here as well. And the Zealot count is getting incredibly high. And we are now seeing Select push out again in the middle of the map. He does not have the army to fight against this yet, especially with Zealot Charge finishing up.
Yeah, I've got to say, I really like Elfi's decision to go for +2 armor. That's going to help him an awful lot, especially considering that there are ghosts on the way as well. The armor will assist. It will mean that even stripping the shields off, these Zealots are pretty damn durable. And, of course, Marines are barely going to touch Zealots with that much armor on as well. We've got a small expeditionary force here from Select, taking the Selnaga Tower to the bottom, probably trying to poke in and out a little bit. But I'm really concerned. If Select gets caught out here in any respect, and considering that Zealot Charge is about to finish as well, and if he loses even part of this force, then once this attack comes in from Elfi, he's going to be hard-pressed to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, he does have 8 gateways, so he has a lot of ground units right now. So he has more than enough to defend in multiple areas. But the key is now going to rely on to these ghosts, which Select is now building. He has the Mobius reactor on the way, and if he can land the EMPs, then he will basically melt this army very, very fast, especially because there's not that many High Templar out yet. There's only 3, which can be covered with EMPs really easy, especially when you're coming up to 6 ghosts already. And it looks like Select is just going to leave that drop for now, and he is going to push the weakness of Elfi. Is going to start to put pressure on from the front, then come in from behind with this drop and start to do damage.
Yep, he's going to have to do so fairly soon. We've got +3 armor well on the way from those forges, double forges, getting the upgrades. +1 attack isn't up yet, adding on yet another gateway and robotics bay here as well. A very passive style from Elfi, which honestly is not what we're used to seeing from him.
Yeah, not at all. But he knows he's only 1 game away from losing. And one of the other strengths with this build is that you can now tech switch out with upgrades, which is absolutely incredible. He's going for this robotics bay now, and he's also throwing down the second robotics facility, which means he can start going to Colossus, and all of a sudden, after a couple minutes' time, he's at 6 Colossus, and we have Select. Nothing to defend against it. Nope. No Vikings. And it's a really problem with Terran against this is how do you scout it unless you land a perfect scan? It may catch you off by guard, and that's something that Select needs to mentally prepare for. And just looking around, Select has no idea about it. He scans the natural and sees this mass gateway count. He sees the High Templar. He has no idea about this tech switch coming out, which may catch him off guard, and Elfi could pull the series back.
Yeah, Elfi, in my opinion, really kind of has to go quite soon if he wants to start to push in without the Colossus at any rate, simply because of the upgrade timing. That +3 armor's finished, +2 weapon, +2 armor, nowhere near done right now for Select. There is an opportunity there to go for it, but there is a huge risk in doing so as well. With 6 ghosts, that many medivacs, it's going to be a brawl, so he may decide just to chill back, and it looks like he will do that. He's going to grab the +2 weapon upgrade, get 3 more gateways, and 2 Colossi at a time, 5 more gateways here.
Yeah, really ramping up the production now, and he's pretty content on staying on these 3 bases for now. He's on 72 probes. He doesn't really need to take a 4th for a while because his main base isn't mined out. That's kind of the way that the 4th base comes in, is you take it as the main base mines out, which is not yet.
Yeah,
and,
he actually tried to get greedy there and did try to take a 4th, which was then denied by a drop at the bottom by Select.
And the Colossus now is starting to come in, and still Select has no idea about this. And, oh, where's this Colossus going? It's on a waypoint from the Observer, and that was extraordinarily close. And that could have given the game away, but we already have ship weapons being researched as well from Select here. But he's at 200 supply. He cannot physically make any Vikings right now, and Elfi is looking keen to take a fight.
The amount of gateways that Elfi is adding on here for reinforcement purposes is absolutely ridiculous. Both players are floating over 2,000 minerals, and there's 1,500 gas almost in reserve for Elfi here. Here's the engagement. There's the EMP on the front line there. Some damage done to the front zealots, not all that much. So many cloak ghosts in the mix. Here comes this engagement right now from Elfi. Is he able to do enough damage to make this work? The Colossi tearing their way through those forces from the back, and they're untouched right now. Select cannot do much to those at all. He's actually sniping them down with Ghosts, but the Ghosts getting torn to pieces right now. There are still Zealots in the mix. The +3 armor holds. Select is driven back by Elfi.
And Elfi manages to hold on here. He had a little bit of a funky warp in, kind of delayed those Zealots a little bit, but right now I don't think he should be pushing too far. He does have a lot of gateway units, but we already have the Vikings being switched over now. A 4th base has been taken for Select. Elfi needs to get his now, and the Colossus are in danger.
Oh no, the Colossi are completely out of position. One taken out. Thankfully, Stalkers and Zealots come in from the back to reinforce here, and some damage once again could be done. The Ghosts continue to snipe away at that, but wow, that was a lot of gas that I just saw evaporate right there in the middle of the map. And Elfi now continuing to push back over. Select bring in some reinforcements and a bit of back and forth action from this lot. In the meantime, both players have secured their 4th base.
Yeah, there's kind of a toe-to-toe, but now Select has a little bit of an edge. He's got better upgrades right now. Elfi has slowed down. He's currently only at 3-2, and Select is working on 3-3 now with the +1 ship weapons. The one big thing I noticed is Select macro, once again, as we saw on day 1 yesterday, is crazy. He's building 11 Marines and 6 Marauders at one time. That is a lot of barracks. And like you said, there are a lot of gateways out now for Elfi, but he doesn't have the economy, especially if he's going to lose his 4th base.
That would be absolutely disastrous. Will he be able to get there in time? He's streaming across the map as quickly as possible. In far as I'm concerned, he's going to blink those Stalkers right now in order to save that. Thankfully, he's able to get there in time, and he doesn't lose all of his probes in the transfer either. Not able to snipe off that dropship. That would have been absolutely wonderful if he did. The Archon count has just gone haywire right here.
And we have a couple of harassing Zealots now on the left-hand side. Are going to do a bit of damage. This is not a planetary fortress yet, so SCVs are going to go down, especially with this +3 attack.
In the meantime, though, Select is going to try and do exactly the same thing. He's pushing forward from the right flank on the 3rd base, which is completely undefended. Elfi is supply capped, so he can't warp in anything else, and he's got to make a decision, and it's a difficult one, perhaps, to turn around or sacrifice that. It is down already.
There was a south drop as well. A single High Templar managed to feed back the drop, which was picked up and dealt with easily by Elfi. And he does manage to hold on. He is at 200 supply versus the 186. The losing of these harassment units, pulling supply in low. But look at these Zealots on the left-hand side now. Have destroyed so many SCVs and have forced Select to not mine from a 4th base and has to set up lower down. And Elfi actually, surprisingly, managing to play a late game against the fierce, the fast Select.
His macro was really good, I've got to say. It really, really is. He's got an extremely high gateway count. He got the upgrades out very early on. He got a series of fairly good engagements. And he slipped up just a little bit in the middle earlier where he allowed the Colossus to die. But for the most part, those engagements have been really, really strong. Now, here's the thing. Elfi knows about 1 and now 2 bases to the left. Does he go and assassinate it?
And another drop here by Select. Consistent harassment cancels this expansion. And as you said, there is that Zealot wandering around. And it looks like Select wants to engage. He has 11 Ghosts. That is so many EMPs available to him. And the Colossus count is only at 3. And let's have a look at the Viking count. It's at 8. With +1, they're going to be able to snipe these down relatively fast here. The Storms have to land. The EMPs on Select's half have to hit as well.
Yeah, this is a bit dicey here because obviously Elfi did take some damage.
Select is going to trap
engagement. That would be terrible if he got trapped here. And it looks like it's going to be the engagement. The Storm goes down. Select eats a significant amount of damage there. The EMP going in the middle. Another Storm on the right flank. EMP's flashing all over the place. Colossi almost destroyed, but 1 remains up. And Elfi trying to drive these away. There's still a ton of Archons up here. Select taking significant damage. Will there be enough Archons to finish this off? I don't think so. It's incredibly close, but Select wins that engagement.
And Elfi was driving away Select on the natural as well. Elfi actually fighting in 2 different areas, has a lot of money, but it has a lot of gateways, so that's a lot of Zealots about to come out, and they will be able to deal with this amount of units in the center of the map quite easily. There are so many Zealots with +3 armor as well, and these units are low in health. They stim in a running away attack.
Indeed, that famous running away attack, just getting away as quickly as they can. Yes, I don't think they're really leaving anything behind at this point, but Elfi is going to try and snipe off this base, and to be honest, he can do it, but he's going to take significant losses to those Zealots.
So many mules in this bottom left actually mining. His incomes are currently at 2,300 compared to just a single 1,000, but all the Zealots are coming in, and they are going to be able to tear down this planetary fortress very easily.
Yeah, they've got the +3 upgrade, which is enough, so he shouldn't even lose any Zealots there. Nicely done, and the economy of Select taking significant losses. He's trying to re-expand here. If we look at his third, almost mined out. If we look at it, his natural and his main, completely mined out here. If Elfi continues to deny these mining bases, Select's going to be in a really awkward position.
And I think Select will want to try and catch these units off guard. I'm surprised he hasn't moved down yet already. And catching all these Zealots with the Ghosts and all the Marines he has could easily take these down. But once again, Select surviving, managing to get a 4th base here while taking another base at the north expansion. Elfi's economy is slowly falling down a little bit here. He's currently only mining from 1 base, about to take that right-hand side base as well. But he's mining from 2 bases versus Select, who's mining from 3.
Yep, Select has now secured the expansion to the top here, which is nice and fresh and very, very muleable. We've got that one observer sitting on this base here. Elfi has the potential to attack it. The problem is that Select knows exactly that is a potential. So Select is blocking that off, forcing an engagement in the middle. That's a lot of ghosts right there. EMPs go off.
Oh, the High Templar.
Huge EMP right there on those Templar. Massive EMP, all morphing immediately into Archons as fast as they can. However, Elfi does have a significant force here. Will it be enough to drive away? It looks like it will. There's a ton of cloaked ghosts here. The energy's about to go off. Those Archons when they get in there. Zealots coming in from behind. That's a ton of gas about to go down. Elfi's gonna gut that count right here. Select trying to move in to rescue those, and a huge EMP in the center. Needs to bring in the reinforcements. Select already streaming his own in. He's able to come back and smash that. Now the Colossus caught completely off guard. Really nice combat there from Select. In the meantime, we've had Elfi smashing up this mineral line.
And also Select dropping the right-hand side again onto this command center, or Nexus should I say, taking it down. Select is also working on the left-hand side. He wants to get that south expansion. Both of these players consistently harassing each other, and that Nexus does go down on the right-hand side once again. And oh my god, that Zealot at the north has 13 kills at the north side. So Select's SCV count is down to 41, but he has 10 mules right now.
Yeah, what do you need workers for when you have so many orbital commands? Elfi's killed 38 workers. It hasn't honestly made that much of a difference because of mules for the moment. Elfi forcing his way forward here, just trying to grab drops here and there, do as much damage as he can, but Elfi must try and secure another base because he keeps losing this one to the right. He is able to mine from this base at the bottom, but Select is expanding all over the map here.
Select is like a Zerg. He won't let these expansions down, and the thing is that he's expanding so much, his army is slowly getting out of control. He has 83 supply in army compared to just the single 46 of Elfi, and this little army does need some Vikings added into it, and we are having Vikings actually in production as well. And Elfi engaging uphill, could be in danger.
That's really, really risky, and Select clearly outnumbers him in the center there. That would be a very bad idea. A storm used for defensive purposes. Select not taking much damage. A second storm in the middle. A lot of damage done there. The Colossi will be able to do huge damage to that large group, and he's able to pick off a couple of ghosts as well. Elfi's got to engage really well here to win. Couple of ghosts, one incinerator trying to snipe off the second one, desperately running for its life. It gets away, but Elfi holds that in the center quite nicely. In the meantime, harassing another expansion down to the bottom. But as you said, Select's expansions are getting out of control. He is building every way he possibly can and trying to stretch the harassment potential of Elfi to the limit.
Yeah, all Select needs to do is just stop Elfi from expanding, which he is doing on this right-hand side with these 3 Marauders. Once again, they are going to be greeted by 3 Zealots, so it won't be able to do too much unless he micros. And he is just going to pick up and leave. But the thing is, he's going to plant down a factory on the kind of the expansion which Elfi has to take on this right-hand side. And he's just going to deny that for as long as possible. And now Select's army is charging down the left-hand side. And the army of Elfi is so small, a single Colossus. He does have 17 Zealots, but there are so many ghosts and army units here that he could wipe this out.
This engagement could be really bad for Elfi. This might be the thing that seals the deal. The ghosts are coming in. There's the EMP. It lands on the Templar and on the Archon as well. Not a good start for this engagement for Elfi. A lot of Zealots just took a hit from that EMP. Archon's moving in as quickly as they can. Vikings trying to bring down the Colossus before it does too much damage. I don't think that's enough in terms of the Archons, but they are ripping their way through what's left of Select's army here. More Warpins coming in. Once again, Elfi throwing this back. One medevac sniped off, a second one coming down again. He holds the bottom.
He does, and it prevents a mining base once again from SeleCT at the north side, but still the reinforcements keep on coming, but Zealots and Archons with +3 armor don't die.
Except then, but mostly they don't die. The thing about it is that Elfi is constantly going to try and follow up after that engagement and then losing what he saved. What Elfi needs to do here is be really conservative. Yes, if he can win an engagement and lose less units than his opponent, brilliant. Follow up, maybe snipe for a few medevacs. Don't charge halfway across the map, because the production capabilities of SeleCT are absolutely ridiculous at the moment, and he can easily reinforce.
And look at all these SCVs that have just been transferred to that base now on the left-hand side. There is a lot of mining going on now for SeleCT, and he's still denying the expansions for Elfi. He's been stuck on 4 bases the entire of the game, and I'm pretty sure that SeleCT's gone and touched pretty much every expansion on the map at least once by now. And 2 Stalkers are going to go and find out that SeleCT is mining once again. Elfi has to prevent this base from mining, otherwise it will go too far out of his control.
Yeah, it's already getting quite silly in terms of the amount of income. You can see the comparison right there. Elfi is back on his feet economically, but is still way behind SeleCT. We've got these 2 Stalkers trying to snipe off this area here, and some harassment over to the east. Once again, Zealots doing huge amounts of damage. The worker count killed now is at 41 for Elfi. His harassment in this entire game has been really, really good. The problem is it's just not been quite enough to hold SeleCT back, and SeleCT just keeps throwing wave after wave at Elfi. Elfi is getting some pretty good engagements. If he can get another great engagement and then not charge after his opponent and lose a bunch of units for no good reason, then he'll be in a much better position, hopefully to then secure another expansion.
Oh, in this army, I have no idea how Elfi has this much money. But he has another large army which is going to charge into this planetary fortress, and it will go down. He will prevent SeleCT from mining again.
Yep, the problem is that if SeleCT comes in from behind, then this is going to be really messy for both sides, honestly. We've seen these engagements go either way. They're difficult to call, similar-sized armies, equal upgrades on both sides.
And SeleCT is dropping at the same time onto the last remaining base. There is a high tempo available to feedback, but there's hardly any energy on the medivac anyway, so it won't make too much difference, as you can see. Gets lifted in, but SeleCT's army is getting relatively large now, but at the same time, Elfi has so much money. This guy has a trust fund that is not it just won't go away. On 4 bases at 36 minutes. I don't know how this is possible.
He will not stop. He will not stop. He's been mining efficiently from these bases. He's starting to mine out on both, though. And this is really oversaturated. That is, yeah, I think that is ridiculously oversaturated. I've never seen so many probes in one place.
Oh, SeleCT is getting really angry right now.
SeleCT, yes, I think SeleCT just had enough, honestly. He's going to go for it. He's going to force a fight. He takes out the 3rd. Elfi really doesn't have anything to mine from now. He's got to get a really good engagement and secure an expansion at this point. If he doesn't, then SeleCT will be able to roll over him. Army supply count currently in favor of SeleCT. A really good engagement must happen for Elfi here.
Here we go. He's there. The EMP's good EMP on the high tempo.
Really good EMP.
There's 1 high tempo left, capable of 3 storms.
Well, let's see how good the storms. That was a good storm into it right there. Good damage done. The Colossus remain alive. There is actually no Viking count here. The Colossi will be able to deal massive damage to SeleCT, and I have to wonder what SeleCT is really doing there. He needs to bring the Vikings to the front. He's getting out of there. Unfortunately, it looks like you guys are about to get sliced to pieces. That said, he's elevated to the top of the cliff, so those Zealots are going to take a lot of fire as well. I think he honestly needs to back those off there. He did sacrifice a number of units. SeleCT can afford to lose those units, and Elfi really can't. Army supply count 108 for SeleCT, 59 for Elfi.
Elfi has no mining base right now. He's long distance mining from the right hand side, is trying to get up the Nexus in the top right position, but SeleCT is still mining from 1, 2, 3 separate bases with mules as well. He has the army advantage, and Elfi, oh no, he's engaging uphill again.
That could have been really messy. He's going to lose a couple of Stalkers, and at this point, considering Elfi's not earning any money whatsoever, those Stalkers do mean a lot. He was able to blink out a couple, but he did lose 2, so I'm not liking that at all. Elfi is on a 66 army supply. Once again, Hero Zealot going for it, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, he already had a broken leg and arm, was in red health.
He was sort of just limping around there, pulling himself along. He's like, I'll get your legs, I'll get your legs.
And I think this is drawing towards the end for Elfi now. The one good thing that could save him now is he has so many High Templar. The thing is, he keeps clumping them up. They keep getting EMP'd all the time, and so he's not really maximizing the value from the High Templar here. And once again, it looks like Select will look for an EMP. And look at that. One EMP will get every single High Templar here. And if Select lands that EMP, that will be game.
You know what I like as a Terran player? That looks delicious. But right now he needs to split it up, which is what he's doing. He's now splitting into two groups. Just distribute them around. Make sure they do not get EMP'd. A lot of good storms could do huge damage to Select. It's happened before.
Oh, here they come.
A little defensive storm right there. EMP not going off just yet. More Zealots harassing Select at the top just because, hey, why not? He's denied another mining base. I almost killed that orbital command and now chasing off a second. Very intimidating right there. And this base has been taken and Select actually doesn't know about it.
Elfi's actually waiting for observers before he engages because he can't see the ghost if they cloak, which is pretty bad, I suppose. And
it's not helpful.
It's not helpful at all, but now Select knows where his opponent is. He will try to sandwich his opponent. He has units waypoint on the left, his army on the right, and oh no, Select is going to drop to the top right now. Spider Sense is tingling for Dignitas Select.
Yes,
Marauder.
indeed it is. Marauder, hi. Shoot it. There you go. Fantastic. It's dead. No, it's not dead yet. No.
Is he actually going to get it?
No, you can't do that. That's not allowed. That's actually against the rules of StarCraft.
He's actually going to get a High Templar.
What the hell?
Okay.
Oh,
what?
no.
He's going to get... Oh.
I don't really know what just happened there. That's pretty good. But whatever the case, yeah, that Marauder's getting a pay rise. At least it will in death. Oh, no. Storm goes down right here. Here come the EMPs. Storm onto the Viking, but there's really nothing left. I think that might be a good game. There you go. Elfi holds on for 42 minutes. Fantastic harassment. Unfortunately, Select's macro just a little bit too high there. There you go, folks. 3-1 for this series.
And Elfi playing a fantastic game in that last game of the series, but Select comes out the winner and will advance to the finals now. He is guaranteed at least $3,000, so I suppose he owes me a chicken dinner. But he has to play the winner of Idra and White Raw next.
Well, that's scary one way or the other, isn't it? I have to wonder which you would prefer from that. Perhaps Thomas can tell us in this interview. Take it away.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations. Give it up for Select. Yeah, that's right. So after the first match against Elfi, what was going through your mind when you lost it?
First game, after I scout his expansion with my SCB, I saw no expansion, so I hockeyed my SCB, but mistakenly I forgot to bring it. I knew he was on base all in, but yeah, that was my really big mistake.
And that was an intensely intense game. After a while, the tolerance altered. Did you fall there at any moment? Did you think that you were going to actually lose it? The last game.
I didn't expect him to be that good in TVP, but he was really good. And the time where I mined for space and then we were fighting, he kept sending Zealous, so I wasn't prepared for that. I was too busy microing, so that was the hard time.
Okay, so you're going to the finals against either Idra or White Raw. Who would you prefer?
I prefer White Raw because I like TVP better than TVZ.
Great to hear. Well, congratulations, and we'll let you back to practice. And we're coming back soon with Idra versus White Raw. Don't forget, we're going to have tomorrow on the show matches of the community. You can go still vote at www.teamliquid.com/ROG. Remember that, we'll go into commercials, and we'll be right back with the next match.